Hi, it's Jess. Today's episode is all about charcuterie. But before we hear from our special guest, let's hear from you. I asked you guys on Twitter what has been the best flavor combination that you've ever gotten on a charcuterie board or a cheese plate. Now, I started it off. My best combination was Kalamata olives, rosemary bread, and caramelized onion jam. And this was all at Bar 1903 out of Tallahassee. Now, my friend from the History of American Food, she has an interesting flavor combination I had never thought of. She said that she loved the sweet tart of membrillo or quince paste and blue cheese with a dark bread. Now, if you remember, Greta from the History of American Food was actually on episode 21, so check that out. The History of American Spice. Now, Cookbook Library, they said that their favorite combination was aged provolone, garlic jelly, and rosemary honey. And doesn't that sound like a flavor explosion? That sounds absolutely delicious. Now we have Casper here. He said his favorite combination was a farmhouse Gouda with medlar compote. Now, I wasn't familiar about medlar compote, but if you were to go to Twitter and read that thread, he explains what medlar fruit is, and I learned something today. And then we go to my kettle, and they said their favorite combination was a mild, soft cheese like brie, dried cherries, and a slightly spicy sopressata. And I'm just like, that was the first person who actually said meat. I was very surprised that a lot of you went cheese platter with your answers. So the next combination goes to Laura. She said her favorite combination was a midnight moon cheese and honey. And I had to find out what midnight moon is. Apparently, it is a goat gouda, which sounds delicious. And so we go to Mighty Corleone. His favorite combination was a ghost cheese with nightshade berry jam. And I thought that was an excellent choice. To be a part of more conversations like these, just go to www.twitter.com/theflakyfoodie or at theflakyfoodie and check me out. I'll always have conversation starters that tie in with the shows. Go there and you could be featured in the next video or podcast. All right, everybody, let's get back to the show. And you're listening to or watching another episode of the Flaky Foodie Podcast, the only show where the discussion is delicious and there's chatter to chew on. Today we have with us Alexis of Boards by Alexis. She makes beautiful artisanal charcuterie boards and also grazing tables. And she's going to tell us a little bit more about her business, and we're going to learn more about charcuterie boards. So welcome to the show, Alexis. So happy to have you.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Yes. So before we kind of get into what started you with charcuterie boards, for those of our viewers who may not be familiar, what makes up a charcuterie board?
So, a charcuterie board literally means meat. So, adding meat to a cheese board makes it charcuterie. So,
Okay.
without the meat, it means just a cheese board.
Yeah, I was actually reading up about charcuterie because I wanted to be
Hmm.
prepared for this. And I realized that if it doesn't have meat on it, it's not considered a
Yeah.
charcuterie board. You just have a cheese plate or a fruit and cheese plate. You have to
Hmm.
have that cured meat there. And it was actually started by the French. And of course, they started charcuterie as a way to preserve meat, to keep their meat from going bad. And then it evolved into these little shops where they would have like dried sausages and
Hmm.
salamis and all that good stuff. And then I was reading in about 2019, it all started to pick up again. People got familiar with the term charcuterie because before you go to a restaurant, what would you
I did
call it?
not know what it meant. A cheese
Yes.
board. Yeah.
You
An
just call it a
appetizer.
cheese board or meat and
Hmm.
cheese board. But they were saying because of like Food Network, Cooking Channel, people started knowing the name, and then
Yeah.
charcuterie boards kind of took off. So, how did you find out about charcuterie and decide, like, hey, this is what I want to do?
So the first time I heard it was about in 2019. My mom went somewhere and she said, "Oh my gosh, I had the best charcuterie board." And I was like, "What? What is that?" And from there, I heard it like so much more, like from social media and everything. So I
Yes.
got really interested in them. And then during the pandemic, I would make boards for my family and friends, and I would post pictures on it, post it on social media. And that's kind of how I got like a little bit more better from it. So I would post them, and then people would like tell me how good it looks, or like just different kind of compliments. And that's pretty much how I got into it, just making them and then posting them.
Okay, awesome. What are
Yeah.
some things that you've learned from like when you got started a couple years ago to now? Like what are some key tips for making a great charcuterie board that you kind of learned along the way?
I feel like if I look back at my work from a year and a half ago when I started, it looks like, to me, it looks bad. So I think I learned like a whole 360 on how to really create the right balance on how, what kind of cheeses go with what pairings, what kind of jams. I think honestly, it was just like the whole time of my business starting has been a whole learning experience.
Have you seen any like changes in the business itself of making charcuterie boards? Is it super competitive?
It is.
It is. Wow.
Yeah. So there are a few businesses here in Tallahassee, but also just like around Florida, around America. I follow a few different ones that like I get inspired by, but just talking to them, and they're like in big major cities like Chicago, there's like 20 popular charcuterie businesses. So it's
Oh wow.
pretty
Yeah.
popular these days. I think that it's just so popular in general for weddings and birthdays. Everyone just is trying to get into something to make extra money. So it's just a popular thing right now.
So what explain the kind of different kinds of charcuterie that you have for events? Like I know you have small boards, but you also have these big tables. Like what are the different sizes that you offer?
So when I first started, I only offered two sizes, and they were boxes. So a regular size box, which feeds 1 to 2 people, and I have a medium sized one that feeds 5 to 8 people. So that's what I started with, and then from there, I grew it. I grew my menu. So I have a large box that feeds 10, and then I also have like boards, and those feed a range of 15 to 20. And then the grazing tables are like the really big ones, and that feeds 20 plus. So I've any number above 20.
So what kind of events have you done? What kind of events do people go, hey, I need a grazing table or hey, I need a charcuterie board for this?
Honestly, anything. I've done birthday parties, graduations, weddings, derby parties. I've done a get ready with me board. Like
Mm.
people come up with anything to have a party, and they'll call me. Anything,
So any party have you a
anything.
yes, a
Golf
charcuterie board.
watching, literally anything.
So out of all the events you've done, what's the event that made you go like, wow, I can't believe I did that. Like this is an amazing opportunity.
I will say that a lot of the grading tables I do are just a great opportunity in itself. And I feel just really thankful for doing everything. But I would say probably going to the Capitol. I've been
Mm.
there a couple of times, and it's just a really great honor, I think, to be able to go there and be asked to do something there. So I think that one's probably like the most like, wow, I can't believe like they asked me to come here.
So you've served lawmakers and senators and
Yeah,
and
it's
everyone,
pretty
which
cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's really cool.
Just honestly, like driving up into the parking lot, I'm like, wow, like I can't believe I'm about to go inside the Capitol and serve a bunch of people. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's really neat. So, what about charcuterie? Like, I've always wondered this. Like, how do you approach it? Is there like any etiquette involved, or you just, you take your plate and you just have at the table, or is there a certain order in which you should grab things? I don't know. I'm very neurotic, so that's me or probably
Um,
overthinking it.
I feel like it's definitely not organized.
Okay.
It's kind of just like, I don't know. It's definitely not organized. I think when I do my grazing tables, it's just like here and there and everywhere. So you
Hmm.
just kind of grab what you like. But I don't think there's no like proper way to just grab anything. So I think you start off with the cheese, and then you get some type of meat to go with it.
Hmm.
And then maybe you start there, and then you can see, okay, what kind of jam do I want to pair with it, or what else do I want to nibble on with the grazing table? So I think it's just whatever your vibes are that day.
Okay. That's good. That makes it a little less intimidating because I was
Yeah.
like, is there a
Where
certain
do you
order
start?
grab things? Okay.
Hmm. Yeah, I think I always start off with a fruit. I think it's a good palate cleanser. So maybe that would be a good start.
Hmm.
So like a grape or something, cleanse your palate, and then you can start tasting the cheeses.
Okay, I
Yeah.
like it. That sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what's your favorite pairing that comes on a table to where you're like, I can't believe this goes together, but this works perfectly?
Mm, so my favorite cheese is an organic Jack cheddar,
Mm,
and I love to pair that with a spicy jam, so like a sweet pepper
yes,
jam,
that
and
sounds
then like a
delicious.
regular like water cracker.
Yeah,
To me, that's like the best pairing. It's spicy and sweet. To me, that's like every day, always my go-to. It's always going to be good. Um, Also, I think brie is just a really popular cheese. So like a
mhm,
slice of brie, a green apple, and a drizzle of honey is also like a really good pairing,
awesome.
in my
So,
opinion.
yeah, I'm with you. That sounds delicious.
Hmm. Yeah.
So, what are some things that you see go like first off the charcuterie board or grazing table to where people kind of grab that first? It's like the hot ticket item on the table. Have you seen
Usually,
anything like that?
yeah, I would say it's the goat cheese. So I do
Mm,
like a vanilla infused goat cheese that's wrapped in blueberries. And I think people gravitate towards that one because it's really pretty. And I think people are like, oh, like what's that? So they just grab that first. And then it ends up being like the fan favorite.
oh, awesome.
So I'll say that one goes first.
So vanilla infused goat cheese with
Yes.
blueberries on the outside.
Yes. That's probably like the top number one cheese everyone likes and asks for.
Yeah, it has a little sweet, has a little funk from the goat cheese.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have the vanilla in there.
It's
Yes.
perfect.
I
That's
haven't had
really,
dinner yet, so
oh
my
yeah, you need
stomach
to
is
get that.
growling. Yes.
It's the perfect cheese.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, about charcuterie boards are for meat people. The word charcuterie means meat. So
Hmm.
do you offer anything that kind of caters to the plant-based folks? Is that possible to make just a fruit and cheese board? It may not be charcuterie per se.
Yeah,
And
I honestly can do anything anyone asks for. So I can do just veggies, I can do vegan cheeses. I will say that I haven't found a vegan cheese that I like personally, but the
same.
people that eat them, they'll like it. So sometimes I just won't ask for cheese or just they'll ask for veggies and fruit and like the pairings. But I can really just anything someone will bring to me, I can do it.
What has been like kind of the toughest part of having this business?
Um, hmm. I would say just trying to stay motivated. I'm really creative and ambitious person
Mhm.
in general, but just staying motivated and just keeping up with like the different trends, I would say is a little tough, but thank God for like social media. I'm scrolling through social media all the time, just trying to gravitate towards just new, fresh ideas and just trying to be more creative. So I'll see someone do something and I'll try to make it myself. I'm like, okay, I like that. So that like keeps me motivated. So that's what I would say the most toughest part about this is.
What has been like your latest piece of inspiration? Can you share that, or is it kind of top secret for
Um,
now?
no, I could share my latest inspiration. So I did a Hocus Pocus theme board last week, which I got the idea. Well, someone asked me to do a Hocus Pocus board, and I researched like different people that did one, and I found it on social media, found one, got inspired by it, and then pretty much did the like inspired by her board and did one. So I think that one would be my most latest one. And I did that one last Friday when Hocus Pocus came out.
It's neat. So,
Yeah.
kind of the segue into fall, it's fall. We're into fall
Hmm.
flavors, you can pumpkin spice everything, apple
Yeah.
cinnamon everything. How can you add, if you're kind of DIYing a charcuterie board at home, how can you add fall flavors to your charcuterie board?
Yeah. So I'm not a pumpkin spice kind of girl, but there are different pumpkin spice inspired and flavored cheeses that people can use. I will sometimes add a lot of fall colors, so like apricots and oranges, figs. Sometimes I'll add like little small pumpkins just to give it like a little pop of color for grazing tables. So I would say start there, and then just work your way out. So maybe doing like not the green grapes, but the purple grapes. Those are more fall-ish. And maybe like smoky cheeses, I would say. I think that brings it into fall. So I'm trying to do that. So
Mhm.
I've been segueing my cheese flavorings to like more calm, neutral, fall-ish, but I don't really do the pumpkin spice. Yeah, I
It's
just can't
it's
get with
it's hit or miss for me too.
it.
Sometimes it's a little aggressive.
Yeah. But if someone
And
requests to have it, I'll add that.
yeah, and I'm a sweet potato girl. We're from the South, you know.
Yeah. I like sweet potatoes. Yeah, for sure.
Yes. So how, when I've seen pictures of these beautiful, massive grazing tables, how does the shopping go for that wide variety and amount of food, and kind of how do you do it all?
So it's just me. I'm a one-man show, and I dedicate about 2 days a week to grocery shop. So usually I'll do like Mondays and Fridays. So Mondays will be my shopping for the entire next 5 days, and then Fridays will be for the weekend.
Mhm.
And I'll have a list, and I'll start at one store. I also will order things online during the weekend, so they'll be here by Monday. And I'll just start off, and I'll go through like 5 different stores
Oh
in a
wow.
circle. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a lot, but I'll have helpers sometimes get other things for me, and then carrying it all to the car. But it's a lot. It's a lot of grocery shopping. Everyone in the grocery store knows who I am because I'm there all the time getting 100 things. That probably is also the toughest part, the grocery shopping, I would say. It's a lot.
So do you cook at all as well, or is this kind of your first kind of stepping your foot into the culinary world doing charcuterie boards?
So when I was about 10, I wanted to be a chef, and my idol was Emerald. So my mom
Oh,
bought
I
me an
love Emerald.
apron.
Yes.
I wanted to be Emerald. I wanted to
Bam, that
meet
was
him.
me.
Yes, that was on my apron. I still to this day I want to meet Emerald, and I really want to be a chef, but I've also wanted to be like everything else in the world, but the chef and cooking and culinary really sticked with me for a while. So I've always loved to cook and just try different recipes. I've tried to do catering once, but just I don't really know how to make a lot for a lot of people, if that makes sense. I don't know how to like make the recipe for 10, but I can make it for 3. I enjoy
Mhm.
cooking. I wouldn't cook for like a lot of people, but I do enjoy cooking every day.
Awesome. So, what brings you like the most joy out of doing this? What's the aspect that makes you go like, this is my favorite part of everything?
So I'm really, really creative and I love art. And I really feel like my charcuterie boards are a piece of art. So
Mhm.
whenever I'm done with anything, I kind of step back and look at it and like, wow, like this literally deserves to be in an art gallery. So I think that's the most satisfaction that I'm able to use my love for cooking and my love for art and make it into one thing. So it's really been like amazing. Like I really will look at something, I'll step back and say, wow, like I can't believe I did that because it's just that beautiful. I think it's honestly a piece of art.
What has been like the most satisfying moment, when somebody has seen your charcuterie board or seen a grazing table? Like what has what has been that moment to you where you're just like, this is what I do this for?
There's been so many times where I get just like the most positive, inspiring compliments. But I did one in May for a derby party,
Mhm.
and the host of the party ordered like 3 dozen roses for me to use with the party. So I was able to incorporate that into the board, and it was huge. It was for like 140 people. And I stayed for a while and like watched them look at it, and everyone was just so amazed from it. And that to me was like really fulfilling. I got in the car and called my mom, like, oh my gosh, like people are so happy with my work. And I had a photographer there that took pictures of it. It was just that to me was like, wow, like that was the most beautiful experience for me just to hear everyone's compliments. of my art.
So is this something that you plan to do forever as long as people want charcuterie boards, yeah, I'm going to make them, or is there another kind of aspect of kind of serving people delicious food that you would like to do in the future?
For right now, I think I'm gonna stick to just charcuterie because it's already a lot of work in itself. I do plan on doing this for maybe like another, actually, I don't know. I think I want to do it forever until I can't anymore or until it's maybe not popular anymore. Hopefully it stays popular and relevant, but um I think that I'm going to stick with charcuterie. I eventually I want to branch into like doing brunch boards and dessert
Mm.
boards, but still like in the charcuterie family.
What are your thoughts on the butter boards that are kind
I
of
like them.
awesome?
Do you like them?
Well, I want to have one so I could see how it works, because I'm just
Mhm.
like, this seems kind of messy for no reason,
Mhm.
at the
Yeah.
same time, but I'm just like, it's gorgeous at the same
Yeah.
time. And who doesn't love butter and bread? That's like
Right.
the best
That's what I'm
thing
saying.
ever. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I'm
I want to actually do one with people to see how well it like actually works, functions.
Yeah, I wanna
Yeah.
make one. I like the aesthetic of the butterboard, so I can't wait to make one. I saw one also with, like, cream cheese, and they made,
Oh
like,
yes,
the
with the
bagels.
bagels.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think I'm gonna make that one for someone. Hopefully, someone orders it soon, but I like them. I think it's a c cool little concept, and it's
Yeah.
pretty.
So are there any other kind of new trends that you've noticed besides the butter boards, in terms of charcuterie and fruit and cheese plates?
Um, People are just so creative these days. They're doing dessert boards. I tried to do a candy board last week, which
Mhm.
is was cute for, like, teenagers. I saw someone do like a charcuterie tree, and it
Oh
was
yeah.
probably like 4 feet tall, like a Christmas time type theme, and it was charcuterie like in toothpicks around it. And I've
Mhm.
been asked to do that, but I just don't really know how I'm going to execute it, but I shall try. But there's so many different things you can do with it.
Great. So I was going to ask something. Oh, you've been to a lot of like different parties and events. What's something that you've learned about just entertaining in general, not just, with the boards and the grazing tables and all the delicious meats and cheeses, but just something in general that you've learned about entertaining from doing this?
So I do a lot of weddings, and I'm really fascinated with wedding planning and
Mhm.
wedding, like being a coordinator. So I always like ask the coordinators like how they're feeling that day, and they always are just so stressed out. So that part has been really quite interesting. Wedding coordinators have like the most stressful job of the day, just making sure everything is running smoothly. But
Mhm.
I think it's something that I could do.
Hmm.
I'm really organized, so I've always wanted to like just try it for a day. But I think that's been the most interesting thing doing this. Usually I get there at the end of the chaos, so I'm getting there like
Mhm.
an hour or 2 before cocktail hour starts. So I'm there like when everything's calmed down, but I hear all the stories that has happened hours before. So that has been funny and interesting to see. And also, I guess just regular hosting at people's homes. Um, a lot of them feel like they need to be doing more when I'm just there to do the food. So they feel like, oh, I need to be doing something else, but they're happy to relax and just allow me to do the charcuterie and then have their guests come. So that part's rewarding for them too.
So you've also kind of had the chance to partner with some other Tallahassee businesses.
Hmm.
Um, how can you explain a little bit more about those opportunities that you've had to collaborate with other local businesses?
Yeah, so that part has been really cool. I have collaborated with a coffee shop here in Tallahassee. It's called Argonaut Coffee Shop,
Mm.
and I do like little mini boards for them. And they reached out to me. They just needed some more things to offer on their menu, so that part has been cool. I also work with entertainment catering, which is a catering business here in Tallahassee, and also just different law firms and dentist offices. They'll send charcuterie boards to their partners that I've collaborated with. So that part's been cool. People, it's really just word of mouth, honestly. People have told them about me, and then they've reached out to see if I wanted to get on their team. And it's
That's
been
awesome.
really, yeah, it's been really nice. It's a nice thing to do.
Cool. So if someone is not necessarily in this area, but they maybe need some help putting together a charcuterie board, or they may have a party or an event, is there anything that you do that you can provide to maybe my listeners who are not necessarily local?
So one day, hopefully in the future, I do hope to start mailing out of the state. Hopefully, fingers crossed. But for now, I do travel and I can travel in Florida. I offer classes where I'll come to you. It's kind of like, do you remember Pampered Chef?
Yes,
Like
yes.
it's kind of like that. So like I'll come to you, set everything up, and I'll teach you how to make a board. Then I'll clean up and I'll leave, and everyone can enjoy the board after. So that's a way people can learn. And also, I've done it via Zoom before, where I like pack up the kits and people will come pick them up somewhere, and then we'll do it on a Zoom. Or you can always just follow my social media, and I always like will post different tips and tricks or just different ways you can make your own board at home.
Awesome. So I'm sure you looked through tons of charcuterie pictures online. So are there any mistakes that you notice that people make when they're making their charcuterie board? You're like, I know that you should put this way, or is it just something to where, even if you just put it on there, it's fine? Or is
Hmm.
it?
I think everyone has their own like style on how they do things. So how I might do it can be like the complete different way someone else might do it. But the one thing I will say is I don't like putting like the pickled items on the board. I'll put them like in a ramekin or something because I don't want the vinegar to disrupt the taste of the cheeses. So sometimes when I see that, I'm like, oh, I hope that doesn't like mess up their board. But other than that, I think everyone that I follow at least or that I look on social media, it's pretty much if they look good, it's just different than mine.
Mhm.
Yeah.
There's actually a group. It's terrible, but it's hilarious. And it's got it says what is it? That's not a D charcuterie board.
Hmm.
And it's just people putting like random spreads and
Yeah.
random things that are not charcuterie on a plate. Like I think one had like spaghettios and cracker. It's like a
Oh.
bunch of random stuff.
Hmm.
But I was hoping that you didn't see any fails like that. So it looks like you're on the professional side.
Yeah, I think my algorithm has been like just like
Yes.
the pretty ones, but people have sent me like, things like that or like taco boards. People do that,
Yeah.
like random stuff.
Yeah.
Hmm. I like them
So
though. I like the
yeah.
creativity.
Yeah, I love the taco boards are interesting. I'm like, are the tacos going to get cold? With charcuterie,
Yeah.
you don't have to worry about anything
Hmm.
getting cold. It's all supposed to be eaten that way. So
Yeah, for
yeah.
sure.
Well, thank you so much for being a part of the show. If somebody wants to find out more about your business or follow you for maybe classes and opportunities, where would they do that?
So you can find me on Instagram and Facebook at Boards by Alexis. And there you can see all of my work, my information, and you can just message me when you're ready to order.
Okay, sounds great. Make sure you follow her because her work is amazing. And
Thank
I'm going to
you.
put some of those pictures in this video, but you're going to want to go see them for yourself. Make sure you check her out. As always, I've been Jess. You can follow me on social media. Eat something delicious this week. And if you do, make sure to tell me about it. And always treat this episode like gossip or the gospel and tell someone about it. Thanks, everybody, and have a great week.
Thank you.